I wrote a letter to her. At some point in your young life, you experienced a pain so strong it caused you to retreat to a world of darkness. You deserve to be happy, and you are the only one with the power to start over and release the past that binds you. Love, Mom. I know you are in a scary place, and I continue to ask the angels to watch over you and keep you safe. Just want to jump on real quick. I sent that last letter to I haven't heard anything back. Nobody seems to know if she got it, so I'm going to send another letter I wrote today. I want to start by saying I'm really upset with the illness today. I was just talking to a friend, and a mutual, well, I guess acquaintance just got hospitalized. She also has, but it's not with psychosis, but anyway, she's in the hospital, so I've been talking a lot about that, how they just want to release her without a discharge plan. So I was talking to my friend about make sure they have a plan in place for her. They really just, they try to release people because the person says I'm okay when they're not, which is not okay. So I guess fortunately, having so much experience, I can try to help others maneuver this broken system, but that's beside the point. I'm definitely hoping all is going to work out well. I wanted to read the letter I'm going to send out tomorrow, which says, Dear, I've sent you a card and a letter, and I hope you're getting them. I'm trying to give you some space because you made it clear that you needed it, but I have to remind you how loved you are. I think of you all the time. How could I not? We are connected whether you like it or not. I pray that my love for you will overshadow the darkness that attempts to take over. Please try to remember that you were born filled with light and love, and that is who you are today. You have a decision to make, and I hope you choose wisely. I'm going to help you. You don't need to be afraid or alone. I am right here, waiting. We are in this together. I will never give up on you. Whatever voice keeps telling you I'm your enemy is wrong. There is another voice in there who remembers our love and will remind you if you will listen. It's time to come home. And by home, I mean back to the right state of mind. You've entered a dark place, but you don't need to stay there. You keep trying to escape with marijuana, and I understand it feels better for the moment, but it has led you down a dark path since high school, and it's time to make a change. Come back. You don't have to be scared. I am here to guide you if you will allow me to. Please let me back in. You can have a bright future. You can live a happy and healthy life. You can help others who struggle like you have. Just let go of the past. Let today be the first day of your new life. Free yourself from a mind that imprisons you with thoughts of fear and anger. It is time for a change, and only you can change it. Life is short. You have family who want to support you, but you have pushed them away. It is not you. It's an illness you never asked for. But you are not the illness. Do not allow it to take over. You are the light. You are not the anger. When you feel that anger, ask God to guide you. It's time to focus on the now. I will work with your therapist and social worker to help find supports to pave a future filled with happiness. You deserve to be happy. I was looking at some herbal schools you could consider. We need to find a passion you can focus on, but you have to let people help you and stop shutting people out. The voice that tells you people are bad is wrong. Don't listen to it. Come back to the light, which is you, please. I love you so much. XO, Mom. So I want to send that. Feeling really low energy today. I don't know if I'm coming down with a cold, but I'm still trying to hold on to the fact that I'm not a body, I'm a mind, and I'm not going to let this bring me down. I'm still plugging away, hoping for the best, knowing things will work out, and you have to stay that way too. Send love and light. I'm sending it to all of you. Love you so much. Hello. It has been a few days, so I just wanted to check in because I feel like I have quite a bit going on and a lot to update. I did spend a couple days ago having another serious conversation with God and just wondering what my purpose is and what the purpose of this illness is, and you know, same old things. And what I do is I'll walk around outside like barefoot when nobody's around and surrounded by the trees, and it's just, for me, that's probably the best way to kind of meditate or feel closer to a higher power. And I got thinking a few things. A Course in Miracles talks about a split mind and how as sons of God, like our minds kind of split and created an ego, which created a body, which created us, and that we're actually, there's another mind that we could connect to, like a Christ mind. Anyway, I started thinking about bipolar disorder, and this is a weird correlation, but I was like, wow, that must be, if that were the case, and as God's kind of children or offspring, our minds split and we created this whole new world. Does that sound familiar? So I was like, wow, maybe God's going through what we go through as parents with all of us humans. So I don't know, I found that to be a correlation. So then I said, hey, trying to bargain with God. Yeah, that's what we've come to, bargaining with God. I was like, if you can return my daughter to me, maybe I can spread this word and other people will see the same thing. I could return some of your children to you. And I know it sounds out there, but guys, you know, sometimes desperation, that's what I was feeling. That's what I was feeling at the moment. I asked for God to return my child, and I'll help. I will make it my purpose to do the same, and I will. I totally will. So that's that. And then I, of course, thought about, whenever I do this, it's like, okay, I need some proof. Even though I've been given proof before, I was like, show me that rabbit and show me a couple feathers, show me a cardinal feather and a blue jay feather. Like, I wanted to see them all, and I really felt like I was going to, but I didn't, and I still think I will, but I just think it wasn't happening that day. So fast forward to today, right after that, I had applied to a job in Florida because that's where we'd like to relocate. The plan is to relocate to Florida. So I found an editing job, and long story short, I heard back from them. Like, I've applied to a bunch of remote jobs and not heard a thing because there's like hundreds of applicants. So I did hear back, and I have a kind of a pre-screening today with them, which is, and I also have to do an editing test. So that's big news, but it's a little nerve-wracking. If it's meant to be, it will. And then the other thing is my beloved daughter is still not taking her medication. They're having a lot of problems. So the psychiatrist is going to call me today at 9:30, and I'm just going to talk with him, see what some options might be. Like, I'm really not sure what I can do to help, but I did go through a lot of her records and looked for past medications that might have helped. I've tried to formulate a timeline. I've got some questions I'm going to talk with him about, so it'll be, you know, it's nice to know that I know when he's going to call, and I can prepare for this call and see what we can do, because they're not seeing any progress, and she's been in there for going on a month. So I'm hoping that conversation goes well. I'm really going to hope for the best. It's been kind of rough because it's been rainy and dark and it's getting cold. So of course that does not help with the mood, but it's okay. Think positive, hope for the best. I just sort of wanted to update on all that. We'll see how well this positive thinking goes. All right, thanks guys. I feel like I have a lot to say, but little time to say it because I have to get to work. But anyway, it's been a few days. I still have not talked to the psychiatrist. However, he called me last night at like 6:30, 6 or 6:30, and I was in a NAMI. I'm taking this National Alliance for Mental Illness or family to family class that I just started yesterday. So I kind of wanted to go over that. It's once a week and I thought I could rehash it, but anyways, it was, I think there were 11 of us in there, and just talking about the other diagnoses, and it's all mental health issues. So there were a variety of people in there talking about their issues, and you know, this was just the introduction, so we kind of told our story and learned a little bit about mental health and mental illness that we already know. One of the quotes I wrote down was, "Nobody wants to be treated as broken," which is just, it's so true. I mean, it's no wonder these kids, adults, whoever with mental illness don't want to admit to it or acknowledge it, because it is like we treat them as they're broken, and they're not broken. They have an illness just like anyone else. Like we were talking about, if you have a broken leg or a broken arm, you're not ashamed, and people will help you out and they'll go out of their way to be nice to you and assist you. But mental illness, we've discussed this, yeah, basically you get treated like you've got the plague. It's discrimination. It's a bias, and that's all there is to it. It's very frustrating. And so I'm hoping to talk to the psychiatrist today. I've been unimpressed that I've not been able to get him during the day. So I tried all day Friday and yesterday, never heard anything. I was impressed that he called me back later, and he says he's going to call today, so we'll see. And I have a few things I want to talk to him about. I'll let you know how that goes. Something I thought that was kind of funny this morning, I got a text from her group home saying that the hospital called them and wanted them to deliver Rice Krispie squares, which is like, what? It's COVID time. Like, there is no way. If a staff called to ask that, they must be a new staff. I mean, I tried to get a cake sent to her for her birthday, or a calzone straight from the pizza place sent to her for her birthday, and they wouldn't let her have that. Won't even let her have flowers in her room, but they can have a group home make Rice Krispie treats. That does not make sense to me. So I'm wondering if called up pretending to be a staff or put another patient up to it. If I know her, she probably was pestering the staff all day long for it, and the staff was probably like, I'll call, knowing that it wasn't going to happen. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. I thought it was a little comical. Leave it to her to maneuver that one, because when that kid wants something, she will stop at nothing to get it. And yeah, I'm guessing she's craving Rice Krispie treats. So hey, good for her. Can't knock a girl for trying. Anyway, I will check back in and get to run to work, but I just wanted to do a very brief update. Thanks. Hello. I wanted to pipe in real quickly. I ended up finally talking to a psychiatrist, which actually went very well. Actually a couple of good things, because I kind of woke up early this morning and I was thinking of how I was going to approach her dad, because he pretty much has cut himself off for the past few months. I mean, I see him posting about putting a pool in or whatever. I know he's I know him well enough to know that he just has checked out when it comes to her because he's frustrated, and I get it because we keep going through the same song and dance. But at the same time, I've asked him for records, I've asked him for this gene site test, I've asked him to sign something and send it to the house. Everything I've asked him, he blows it off. Her insurance, she's on a new insurance plan under his wife, and they really need to let the hospital know and give them the numbers, and I've tried to get him to do that. Just everything under the sun. And it's not just with me, it's the hospital, and everyone I've talked to has not been able to get hold of him. Even she tries calling him and leaves him messages and writes him letters and gets nothing. So my frustration level, I really try to understand, and I do, but my frustration level had been rising. And this morning I was going in my mind how I'm going to approach this. I'm trying to stay positive, to not be angry, and I certainly didn't want it to come off as being rude, or I don't know. I didn't know what to do. But I sat in the parking lot this morning when I got to work, and I was gonna send something, and then I don't know what came over me, honestly, but I finally was like, you know what, this can wait. I'll just wait till after I talk to the doctor, and then I'll send him something about the doctor and ask him why he's been so unavailable. So I went into work, and I wasn't there for 20 minutes, and I got a phone call, and lo and behold, it was her dad, and he actually called and apologized for not being around, and admitted everything, and said, you know, when he and his wife came to visit and she couldn't even see them because she had gone into the hospital, it was like she planned that, which I think she did. She started smoking pot because she was nervous about them coming to visit, got herself in the hospital, and so they weren't able to, or he wasn't able to see her, she wasn't able to see her brothers. So I think that really bothered him, and he was holding it in, and he decided to kind of cut her off and everything to do with her. So I've tried to pick up the slack, but when he called this morning, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a good thing I listened to myself, like, this morning, talk myself out of it, because that was perfect timing. And then I felt so much better. I didn't have to put him through any stress. I feel like I told him it's okay, and it really is. I understand. So that was awesome. And then I did finally get a call from the doctor, and I've been obviously hoping for the best. And I talked to him about the medications I had kind of looked up as possibilities for her. And he said his part. He said she had finally started taking her medication. He kind of had a come to Jesus moment with her, told her she needed to stop being, she was kind of like bullying him, bullying the social worker, like just very mean, wouldn't talk to anybody, wouldn't get out of bed until the afternoons. And he finally was like, listen, you got to start getting up by 9. You got to stop being bullying. You got to stop being mean. You know, it's time to toe the line here. And she seemed to be amenable to it. I mean, she's finally agreed that she's going to take the medication that he's offering. I mean, he's worked with her a lot on this, and he wasn't forcing it, but finally it's like, listen, we need to come up with some changes here. So sounds like she listened, and she is taking the meds. And then I made my suggestions, and he told me his thoughts on my suggestions and why they might not be the best fit, and I thought that was great. I felt pretty good about that, like, oh, okay, I get it. And I did talk to him about nutrient supplements and the B12, and I tried to talk about the genealogy and the methyl, and I asked if, like, the gene test would make sense to see her makeup, and he was not thinking that was going to be helpful. But he did think nutrient supplement, and he did think like folic acid, B12, B9, whatever. He thought that was a great idea. So he's going to look into that and talk to her about that, which is awesome. So, and this morning when I said that the hospital called about bringing Rice Krispie treats, I got that wrong. It was the house that called the hospital and asked if they could bring in the Rice Krispie treats, and the hospital said no, write a card. So I got that wrong. I thought that was really weird. So yeah, the house is gonna hopefully send her a card. She's still adamant she's not going back there, how much she hates it, but you know what, I'm really hoping once she gets into her right frame of mind, she'll change her mind, and I think it will help hearing from them. So good news all around. Sometimes when we hold out for the best, we actually get it. I'm still waiting to see my blue jay feather, my cardinal feather, and my rabbit though. So I'm hoping to see those. I feel like that's going to be a sure sign that things are looking up. Thanks for listening. As always, I gotta run back in from my break.